Players, we've seen them on the practice table many times. They're there for hours just putting long blues off the spot. There's no doubt in their talent when it comes to that kind of thing. If they do lack something, is it when the pressure comes in a big match? Because that's something, of course, you can't practice.
No, I don't think so. I think they're all really good cueists and have tremendous confidence in the way they hit the ball, so that helps you play under pressure. I sometimes, I'll go down the academy that they practice in at Sheffield, and sometimes they're on the phone for 20 minutes, and then they'll hit a few balls for 20 minutes, and then they're back on their phone. And that's the only thing that I would be concerned, because if you watch Stephen Hendry practice, it's complete silence. He wouldn't talk to no one. It'd be 4 or 5 hours, 3 hours, whatever it was, and it was just really disciplined stuff. And I think that's what a lot of the top players, the British players, do. And I think the Chinese, they love to kind of play games and stuff like that. And some of them have suffered for it. There's been some real talent out there that hasn't come as good as it should have done, maybe.
Okay, boys, for the time being, thanks as always. Not long now till the players come into the arena. It promises to be an absolute corker, this one, doesn't it? Place in the semi-finals awaits. Let's hand over to our MC to get the players out, Phil Seymour.
Introducing to you firstly a semi-finalist in this season's China Championship, playing today in his second ranking event quarter-final, Zhao Xintong. A winner here in 2017, the 2015 champion of the world, Stuart Bingham.
There will be a break after 4 frames. We'll be on the practice table. Anything you want to see the boys do, get in contact the normal way. Use the hashtag HomeNations on social media. Let's join our commentary team for this one. It's Neil Fold alongside Philip Studd.
First frame.
So we're set fair for what should be a really lively, entertaining quarter-final. Both of these players have been prolific scorers all week. Stuart Bingham with 5 centuries. Zhao Xintong with 6. Bingham, one of only 3 members of the top 16 to have survived to the last 8. Zhao seemingly maturing all the time as a match player. And we've seen plenty of that from Zhao as well this season. Really top-class long potting to get in and doing a lot of damage when he does. But as the guys have been discussing, he does have a negative record against Bingham, having lost all 3, including last week at the World Grand Prix in Cheltenham, when Bingham started with back-to-back centuries and won handsomely 4-1. So Zhao looking to make amends.
It's a very typical opening red, very typical footwear, flashy youngster, isn't he? On and off the table, I have to say, he plays a really good attacking game. Many people have compared him in his style, of course, to a young Jimmy White, the same sort of an age. Just the way that he has that wonderful left-handed ease at which he hits the ball. And saying about this break building, Bingham finished with 3 centuries back-to-back against Robbie Williams. That was 5 in total. He's made 5 in his matches, 1 in every match at least, in his 4 matches so far. So really, these are the 2 form players, and there's an argument this is as good as any of the quarterfinals, this matchup.
20.
He's a breath of fresh air, isn't he? He's one of those players who, win or lose, is just great to watch. In the mode of a Jack Lazowski, the kind of player that the game needs.
21.
Another good recovery shot. It is only a week since they last met, and Bingham won that match. But I think when you're a young player, you can pick things up quickly. There's no reason why it shouldn't be a lot closer or even turned around that result. Cheltenham racecourse the other day.
$23.
Yes, I did a century. Did him up for a century, actually, because it is 6 centuries that he's made. So he's actually made more than Bingham. Zhao this week, 6, and was to get through this match. Who knows if he'd make any more? A lot of people think this is going to be a high-scoring match, and on that basis, it's understandable.
31. $32.
Well, he could go into the bunch here. The pink is not really in the way of them. Obviously, there's risk attached to that, but it's got a flat front to the bunch. He's played it well, but he has been very unlucky. There's not much wrong with how he hit that.
37.
Clung onto that right-hand red of the two a little too much.
A positive start from Zhao, however. Excellent long red to get in. Bit unlucky that he couldn't keep the break going. And the 37-point lead. Winner of this will play the John Higgins or Joe O'Connor. They're up next on the main match table. But of course, now the matches are longer. We have an interval. It's the first to 5 rather than the first to 4.
Well, I mean, that red is, of course, available, the one he's closest to. I don't think these are particularly easy shots. Especially trying to hold for the black, playing it slowly. This is a large old pocket. It was always going to go in, so that's well played. I didn't think it was an easy shot, but I must say, he made it look quite easy.
$8. $9.
Just a fraction too far. The bottom red of the 4 will go, but not from too far up the table. Now, is he on this red?
16.
A really wonderful player. Wonderful talent. One of these players who's got the gift to Doesn't mean you haven't got to work, but he starts off with the gift. Some players have to really battle
17.
spot every ball. With Zhao Xintong, there's just something extra there. It's quite refreshing to watch his opening match against Jackson Page, actually, the young Welsh talent, 17-year-old, who started with a century but was overwhelmed after that
24.
by Zhao. What a start to the match.
25.
Frame ball coming up, and Zhao is carrying on where he left off in his previous matches.
Stuart Bingham has played a couple of shots in this frame. The break-off, where he left the cue ball tight to the cushion.
33.
Zhao stroked in a long red, and then a safety which went awry. Young Chinese has done the rest. A very impressive beginning. He's only dropped 5 frames on his way here.
40.
Bidding for his second ranking semi-final. Great run at the China Championship this
41.
season. Beat some top players, the likes of Matthew Stevens, world champion Mark Williams, Barry Hawkins. And gave Mark Selby a run for his money in the last 4, losing 6-4.
48.
And all of this after dropping off the tour at the end of last season, but getting straight back on via Q School.
Yes, and that ranking he's got of 67 is a false ranking, isn't it? Because it's based on only the points he's accumulated this season. You know, everyone else has got 2 years' points. And on the 1 year list, he's almost in the top 20. So next year, you can be sure one thing, his ranking is going to absolutely go through the roof. If he keeps going the way he is, he could get into, could even make it into the top 16, would
55.
you believe? Probably 32 is a more viable option, but going off the tour last year has done no harm, it seems. You know, it seems to have invigorated him as a player, doesn't it?
Yeah, if he won this tournament, and it's not beyond his compass now, he could certainly get into the Players' Championship next month. He's 26 on the 1 year list as things stand, but with £70,000 available, all things are still
51.
possible this week.
62.
Just looks so confident. No trace of nerves here.
Yes, and I'm saying it again, I think young players can really improve. You know, that's the point. You get a youngster and they can just click.
65.
Not overnight, but it doesn't take them very long to just become a different proposition as a player. We've seen it
67.
over many, many years of playing. That little bit of extra can just be discovered.
70.
Right now, Zhao Xintong is playing as well as he's ever played in his short life.
$74. $79.
What a lovely start to the
85.
match this has been. Delightful break.
Pretty much the perfect frame, really. 2 scoring visits. Stuart Bingham with just 2 shots. The rest of the time he was watching the talent. Bingham beat him handsomely last week in Cheltenham 4-1. But completely frozen out in that opening frame. Former Welsh Open champion.
Well, in the first frame, the same red was left on the other side and Zhao Xintong knocked it in. Bingham missed that one by a reasonable distance. Needs some cover on that red. I don't think he's got any. I think Bingham can get through to it.
has already won on the home nations this season, of course. The English Open, beating Mark Davis, his good friend, 9-7 in the final at Crawley. Since then, his form has been patchier. Some disappointingly early losses, at least in the Masters, to Ronnie O'Sullivan, where he never really got going. Certainly been scoring exceptionally well this week. Interesting that he said that his win over Carter in the first round here was a real confidence booster, because Carter, of course, had come into the tournament off the back of a very good performance himself to make the final in Cheltenham. So to beat Ali 4-0 really was the impetus he was looking for a good run.
Well, there's the wide open spaces around the black spot, which is exactly how Stuart Bingham likes things. I think this match, as we said, had the makings with all those centuries we spoke about, half a dozen already from Xintong, 5 from Bingham. It doesn't always mean they're going to play like that and it's going to continue in that vein, but I get the feeling it might now. Table's playing very easily.
15.
And they're scoring big. A break fest of a match this could be. That's a nice shot, isn't it? I mean, I know if he plays the bottom red, he's got to hit the bunch again, but
Point 2.
nicely played. He's just got to do the same again, really. Pot this and go through the bunch again.
Point 3.
Well, this is a more difficult shot than he would have wanted at this point. Very nice. Struck it beautifully to get right back on the red, just off straight.
Point 8. Point 9. .36.
Just playing it safe, if you like, there, playing into an area where he knew he had a bulk colour with the red in bulk, to alleviate any doubt as to whether he could play a more complicated shot and stay around the high value colours. He'll be back up there after this shot.
41.
Quite a swanky cue, that, isn't it, that Stuart Bingham plays with? He actually had it designed specifically. I think it's an American company who make them.
47.
Well, this was nicely played, but he clung to one of the reds, so the red to the middle is more difficult than he would want. I'm sure he can pot this red that he's closest to, just past the one he's almost next to. Just about. Oh, that's a very good shot, actually. Really is to click that red and with the spider and get on the pink. So as good a positional shot I think you'll see for touch and feel. Good shot.
$54.
So this is at this stage a fine comeback. The frame is not yet won, but if you feel like a lot of the hard work to make it happen.
55.
It looks as though Bingham's been spurred into action by the excellence of Zhao's opening frame, and that can happen. Equally, sometimes one player can drag the other down if they struggle, but these two have been flying all week with their break building.
Yeah, I think the fact that he's finished yesterday's match with 3 centuries back to back, I mean, if that doesn't make you feel good, or what is going
61.
to help you sleep at night and not worry about your game the next day? It seems like he's doing everything well.
Well, that's frame ball come and gone, barring snookers, but it looks as though
68.
Xintong will not be coming back to the table. Really good response, this, from the former world champion to sitting out the first frame.
That's the other thing
69.
that you would think of. It may be completely nothing, but he beat Robbie Williams previously, and of course when he went on to win the world title he beat him at the Crucible, Robbie Williams, in the first match. Strange, because the first week I didn't think he was capable of winning it the way he was playing. Beat Robbie Williams, he had a cold, certainly had some kind of a bug.
76.
Played Graham Dott and he played quite average. Got to the quarterfinals and he seemed the least
77.
likely, but the second week he absolutely played the snooker of his life and beat everybody in his path.
The win over O'Sullivan in the last 8 was huge, wasn't it, for Bingham? So give him that extra belief that he could take out a player of Robbie O'Sullivan's calibre over 25 frames, and then of course he repeated the trick against Judd Trump in the semis in a
85.
final frame, and then that fantastic final against Sean Murphy when he was 4 frames adrift at one stage on the first day. Zhao's turn to warm his chair, but to beat O'Sullivan, Trump and Murphy to win your first world
92.
title. It doesn't get much tougher than that. There was nothing fluky about Bingham's
93.
triumph at the Crucible. It was all skill. He even gained a new fan in legendary tennis champion Martina Navratilova, who tweeted during the final session that Bingham rocks. I think most people didn't realise she was a snooker fan. Perhaps she wasn't before she watched Bingham, but she was converted. And it's yet another century, his sixth of the tournament to match Zhao's tally.
100.
Yes, and played a good shot to get on that red as well.
101. One hundred and 7. 109. 112. 116. 121. 127.
So this black for his highest break of the tournament. What a way to respond to an outstanding frame from Zhao Xintong. First up, Stuart Bingham responds in kind. A brilliant clearance of 134. What a match we have on our hands this afternoon. It's level at 1 each.
Frame where Bingham broke off. Looks like he's trying to nestle onto a red in the bunch here. That's okay, well played, well avoided. Potential pitfall there. Do want to go into the bunch sensibly. I think both of these players, they know they've got to keep it tight on their own safety against opponents that are scoring heavily.
Bingham catching the jaw, but doesn't look as though he's done any damage. Could have left a red for Zhao. Well, this time it's Bingham who's in a spot of bother. He can actually get to the reds here, that's the other thing. So he needs to be a bit watchful if he starts to miss it a couple of times. I think he will.
and a miss. Zhao Xintong,
Well,
4.
it's one of those where he's missed it by the proverbial there, not by very far. But it will, of course, always go back. As I say, if he does it again, he'll have to keep his eye on things because he can see a red full on. It's almost need to rock back the other way. He knows now that he can hit one. He's got to look down the line of it. If attempt 2 goes wrong, attempt 3 will be a very different shot. Just Stuart is right. I think the reason he's saying that is he can't hit that red that's on the left of the bunch in order to play a safety shot back.
You wouldn't see it very clear from there. If you want, I can move it a little bit more, yeah?
Yeah, Bingham was right. That's where it was originally.
Yeah. Yeah.
Needed to go to the left as we look.
And a miss.
Now he's got problems. He won't be playing this shot again. He saw Ding Junhui lose a frame on the 3 strikes and out rule. He will get warned here.
Have a look now. Yeah. I'll have to check something. I'll have to check for a full ball. Yeah.
Lava Vasilova is now
I'm on the same
check.
opinion. Okay. So,
Well, at least she was, so but I think Bingham accepts the fact that he needs to hit a red here.
Well, even if he can't hit a red full ball, he can, he could hit a red if other reds weren't in the way. That's the point. And yeah, he can absolutely hit reds. So that's the right decision from Desislava. Now what do? You're not so much in trouble. But he won't be playing that shot again because he'll risk losing the frame in one shot. Quite amazed he could see enough of that red in the first place. Why wouldn't he play off that side?
Zhao spying the plant.
I'm not sure about this one because I'm not sure about that. It's on. If the left-hand red's not there, it's a dead plant, but the left-hand red comes into the other two at an angle which is not straight. So I wouldn't be sure that's on. I think he's better off playing safe here. Very absorbing little battle this, isn't it? Because both players are aware that the other one is scoring quite brilliantly. So their safety has got to be better than usual. I think he's got an escape here. Red in the middle of the bunch to hit on the right side. He could actually play a two-ball plant there. The reds are wide enough apart, but the cube would be heading back down the table. I don't know why he played. Why did he play that red? He could play a different red. The other red looked like it was halfway in the way. I think he played the wrong safety shot there. The red below it to the right was the shot. He couldn't hit a red on the way back at all. It was inexperience.
Could have been a whole lot worse on the face of things. I think straightforward anyway for Bingham. Very good part.
One.
Not great position though.
Six.
Did it well. I think he was actually going to stun that and kind of put the cue ball to the Q-tip to the middle of the cue ball there. He looks incredibly confident to me. The last 4 frames he's won have all been with centuries. Of course, he lost a frame in between that, the first of the match.
Thirteen.
The venue has a very different look about it now. Just the 2 tables left. The second
14.
for the final quarter-final this evening. Same for Scott Donaldson. And tomorrow, of course, when we reach the semi-finals, we'll be down to just 1.
Twenty.
Well, that's quite difficult to get on the table. Some might find it quite difficult to get off the table as well.
21.
Anyway, he played it well. Played on the pink. It's a quite a congested table around the black spot. But I wouldn't put anything beyond him at the moment, the way that he's playing.
27.
He's worked hard to get himself into this position in this frame. Now, red's in the middle of the table. Quite accessible. There's two reds in open play. He looks very, very sharp, doesn't he? It's almost 2015, second week of the World Championship form, isn't it, that we're seeing from him? He's in a bubble of good concentration and extreme confidence.
35.
He likes the home nations. He's already won the English Open this season. The only player, as that pink just about wriggles in, to have won multiple home nations events since the series started on Eurosport. Of course, this Welsh Open has been long established since way back in 1992. He nearly missed that. It's gone in. For his 19th
42.
ranking semi-final appearance, Bingham. Zhao didn't quite get his safety right, but it was a very good opening red from Bingham, very missable.
49.
Across the table. And a good recovery positional shot as well to keep the break going.
Yes, and Zhao Xintong is 29 minutes without putting the ball, and of course that was the end of frame one on that 92 break where he looked $1 million. You can be the best thing since sliced bread, but if you're not getting a shot at this game, it doesn't matter. You've got to sit and watch your opponent. He's done that ever since, to be honest. Even that shot was played well.
63.
It does look good. The black's never been on this frame, and Bingham is particularly good around the black spot. He's not been hampered by the two reds tying it up in this break.
The pink and another red. Zhao will need snookers.
Bingham's pot success is 100%. 56 out of 56. In fact, only one pot has been missed this whole
69.
match. Zhao is on 97%. It's been a very high standard of play. She as we're deep into frame three.
Yes, the frame is won, barring snookers. Straightforward blue to follow. And Bingham to continuing the form he's shown throughout this tournament.
I think he's got that cannon as well.
75.
Could be on for another century here now that he's played that shot. This is
76.
quite special.
Rueful grin there from Zhao, who's played one loose safety. Pretty much the only error he's made. It's going to be 2-1 behind.
He is. 2-1 behind is not too bad, though. And, you know, that's you have to accept sometimes that you don't always do anything wrong.
83.
And when you're not doing anything wrong, you can't beat yourself up over anything that's happening out there.
84.
He knows he's in form. What he needs is a chance.
Yeah, it's much easier to be philosophical about this than if you're in and miss an easy
91.
one. Allow your opponent to clear up.
$92.
Going to get off that bottom jaw on this table. That's for certain. That last shot.
$99.
So, this would be quite something if this went in. An easy one with the rest. No century. What a shame.
It is a shame, but it was another outstanding break from Stuart Bingham. Given that the black was out of commission throughout, he engineered that break exceptionally well. Kept a tight rein on the cue ball. This match is at the highest class. After 3 frames and 92 clearance, and Stuart Bingham has responded with 134 clearance and just falling short of a second consecutive century on 99. But both players look exceptionally good when they get in. Bingham has been able to do that for the last 2 frames. It's another good break off.
He certainly looks at the bunch.
1.
Oh, that would hurt, sitting there. Having not had a shot for an awfully long time. He's 33.5 minutes without a pot. I'm guessing it was a plant. I mean, it didn't seem a conventional plant, but he looked at the bunch.
And there was no apology for a fluke either, so it looked calculated, that, from Bingham, giving him control of the table.
Maybe, I'll be honest, I can't see how he could have spotted it, because it's just a bunch of reds and one sticking out. But like you say, there was no apology. But either way, he's got him on Lombard's, it's on the back foot, more so than that.
Oh, anonymous. Stuart Bingham 4.
Well, it's a question of it goes back if there's no red available. It's quite as simple as that. And I think he is on a red.
Bingham looked disappointed straight away there. This is the break-off again. He knew he'd overrun his intended position. But the way in which Bingham hit the red suggested he did intend the plant.
Well, maybe, but I can't see that. I can't see a plant there. I mean, it doesn't matter whether he meant it or not. It went in, I suppose.
Stuart Bingham 1.
It's a new one on me. And I've seen players not flinch when they fluke one and claim it was all a great plan. At the moment, anything that Zhao is worried about is how to keep getting other snookers. He's, Bingham is absolutely getting him where he wants him here. Playing the same shot and he's hit it wrongly. He held his head down straight away. He knew he'd got it wrong. The pace had to be so accurate.
One.
He's just had nothing to go at since that impeccable first frame.
Eight. Nine.
What a delightful shot. Again, exactly how he played it.
16.
Playing with wonderful touch at the moment. It's like he's got that little bit of magic that players sometimes get, where he can put the cue ball where he wants it. It doesn't happen every day, but it's happening on this particular session. Table's playing easy.
17.
He's playing well. It's a pretty lethal combination, actually.
Twenty-four. Twenty-five.
Since the loss of the first frame, it's been almost exclusively Bingham on the table. Must feel pretty lonely for Zhao sitting in his chair there. He's been there for quite some time now. When he has come to the table, he's had an awkward shot.
Well, yeah, he's played out of snooker a couple of times, hasn't he? It's been no fun. He was allowed to break
32.
off, and he left a mysterious plant in there. Apart from that, he's having a great time. That's what you get for knocking in a 37 and a 92 against the former world champion. You don't get any more shots for a while. He hasn't done much wrong, has he? If anything. Hot success is 97% Zhao against 99% Bingham. It's a great game of snooker.
Bingham taking his time here. He's being very calculating because he knows the threat that Zhao carries if he does make a mistake and leaves him with a chance. He's looking to be really clinical here.
33.
No room for the pink on its own spot by the looks of things, and no shot available, so behind the cluster it goes.
$39. $40.
Well, I think this time there is nothing in that bunch that goes. But what he's concerned, he just wants to make sure that pushes something out into play. I think the second red down from the top, that will head somewhere towards the right corner if he hits the bunch full on. Yeah, that's exactly it. It's a classy shot. He's on the other one anyhow. But he's going into this bunch of reds with such certainty and with such accuracy that he hasn't got to hit them hard and trust to luck, because it's all skill at the moment, not luck. I don't think I've ever seen him look more confident. I do remember a Premier League night in Guildford and the old Thursday night events where he beat two players. One of them was Neil Robertson, 6-0. Played almost flawless snooker that night. Those kind of occasions for any player are very rare.
At the moment, Zhao can count himself unlucky that he's run into Bingham in this form.
Yes, he's even playing the plan here, and the other red is absolutely wide open.
54.
He goes to 60, so Bingham's only going to need one more red after his next colour. A faultless mini session. Didn't do anything wrong in the first frame, really. She failed to score in. Since then, it's been all Bingham.
So,
59.
frame not over yet. It's another ball.
The only one he's missed so far was for the century in the previous frame.
Yeah, and the frame was well and truly over. So, to keep the run going of not having missed ball in live play, he's got to chip this in. And it was actually a rest shot, wasn't it, that he missed into that other corner pocket. That's two rest shots he's missed, and absolutely nothing else.
Stuart Bingham, 59.
So just about enough there for Zhao Xintong to win the frame, but much to do to make it happen. He's cross. Oh, that was all or nothing from Zhao. Tough pot with the rest along the rail.
It was, wasn't it? I guess he felt that he had to clutch at anything that he could go at, really. It's not always the case. I suppose you'd say he'd get it more times he'd miss it, wouldn't he? Especially into that pocket where Benny have gone in that looked like they were going to stay up. It's a tough game, though, when you're just sitting watching, isn't it?
1.
Yes, he's probably exasperated at how little table time he's had since he won the first frame. Virtually none, in fact. Perhaps a little too eager there to try and get back into the match, but Stuart Bingham
1.
has played something close to perfection so far in terms of his all-round match game. He's looking razor sharp. 66 the difference. Only 59 left, so 2 snookers needed. Zhao's in 1. Killed the frame off for sure. Still a lot for Zhao to do to avoid falling 3-1 down at the interval. This pink has got to go in, otherwise I'm sure he'll be heading for the dressing room.
7.
So he needs 2 snookers just to tie.
Now Xintong 7.
Seems a pretty forlorn hope, doesn't it? At least he's off that 40-odd minutes without reply now after the mid-session interval. And he's still in the match, let's be honest. He just hasn't had a chance. Bingham he's missed that one, but that's the first shot without the rest that he's missed. He's all over him at the moment in what's been a very high-quality game of snooker.
One. Seven. Eight.
The task is getting harder and harder here for Zhao. He needs blacks really, but of course the black is out of commission, so it's 3 snookers now. And that surely sets the seal on this
Now
mini session.
8. Stuart Bingham frame.
And for the sheer calibre of the snooker, you won't see a much better mini session of snooker than that. And Stuart Bingham has bossed most of it. Draw thus far. Really outstanding quartet of frames. 3 of them going Stuart Bingham's way. He has been clinical, scoring heavily as he's done throughout the week, but it's the way in which he's gone about his break building. Real precision, calculation about it. He's missed a handful of balls, some of which were not significant. And he scored extremely heavily once again. The highlight, the 134 clearance, and then 99 and a 59 break, which effectively won him the 4th frame for the 2-frame cushion. Zhao Xintong has done very little wrong, so he can't berate himself for opportunities missed, because the one good one he had, he took with the break of 92 in the 1st frame. But this frame does feel like a very, very big one, and he couldn't have got much closer to that long red.
Well, he started the match well, and he really could do with starting this session in the same way, getting a frame underway. The interval, as we know, is an old cliche, but we know that intervals can, turn matches on their head. A player who's been in deep concentration can lose it. A player that's been struggling can have his faults ironed out.
The challenge for Bingham now to maintain that intensity that Ronnie O'Sullivan was just talking about. Not get ahead of himself, not start thinking about prospects of the semi-finals and a meeting with either John Higgins or Joe O'Connor, who play next up on this table. Just pretend as though it's the 1st frame. Treat each ball on its merits. Think that he's far too experienced not to do all of that. And another nice opening red. That's 3 out of 4 from long range now for Bingham. That's cued superbly all the way through the week. From the moment he whitewashed Ali Carter, when ironically he didn't score as heavily as he has ever since. Centuries in every match since then, including 3, of course, on the bounce last evening against Robbie Williams.
Yes, played that around 2 cushions. Soft screw. It's always going to be hard to get away from the cushion because
6.
it was a little bit thin on the blue and it's hard to get into it. Played that well.
7.
Where he's finished perfect on the black again. strange old game, you know, because I watched him play Kyron Wilson last week. He lost. Well, he didn't win a frame in that match over in the
15.
World Grand Prix, and he just couldn't put a ball. You know, he got chances in every frame, and he said afterwards it wasn't to be his day, and he'll go on to the next one. And that is his attitude. He looks a different man today. He's played well all week.
One of the benefits of the explosion of tournaments since Barry Hearn took over as World Snooker, in fact, you can't dwell on your losses anymore because there's another tournament around the corner. And I'm sure one of the reasons that Bingham was able to fulfill his potential
22.
in his late 30s, just shy of his 39th. When he won the world title was because of the number of tournaments that he was able to play in, which allowed him to build the confidence, which perhaps wouldn't have been possible a decade ago when there were only half a dozen of them and there were big gaps between them. If you had a bad loss, you had a lot of time to stew in your juice. It was practically a part-time job, professional snooker. 10 years ago. Now, calendar is overflowing. That's why a lot of players who are on the outskirts of the game's elite,
31.
for a lot of their professional careers, have really blossomed towards the end of them.
What a lovely shot. Purposely played low on those reds so they could do that and get the reds in play. Well, there's no evidence that he's come out from the mid-session interval any different to the way that he walked off the table a few minutes ago. This man is having no chance.
$39. $46. $47.
Again, perfectly played onto the pink, which means it's not so difficult to get to his next red.
Fourth century, half century, I should say, of the match.
53. $54.
Zhao Xintong sitting in his chair there, wearing a hint of a smile. He must be thinking, what have I got to do to get a chance? It's almost as though he's been punished for winning the first frame as effectively as he did. It's woken the beast in Bingham.
$60.
Still 83 there, so a couple more reds required.
$61.
Yeah, anything but straight on this, I would say. What has he got in the way of an angle? very little. Maybe just a tiny angle, which means if he pots his cue will come down towards the reds, but I tell you, there's hardly anything there. He might be able to use the pocket a bit, nudge into them. That's probably about it. And there's still 75 on.
67.
There's a chance Bingham might play the double here. It's the only safe red, though, and I don't know whether we would want to keep it there, although I think on this table, nothing's safe. If you're in line with the shot down the cushion, it will just get swallowed up. I think he's played the right shot. In behind the blue, in the yellow rather. See that? That's a very clever shot, because
Stuart Bingham, 67.
he thought, well, the double just takes away his control over the frame a little. It's a far jaw, then he sticks the red.
Yes, again, Zhao Xintong comes to the table with nothing to go at. Judged that well. Bingham is just one red away from leading Zhao, acquiring snookers again. Zhao can do is really hope that Bingham at some point sees his form dip a little. If he can knock this in, it's looking like 4-1. And that is another beautifully controlled shot from Stuart Bingham, just stroking the balls, caressing them.
Yeah, you always fancied him for it, and like you say, snooker's required, and Xintong is getting a, well, I was going to say a lesson. I don't know what he's done to deserve this lesson, but you know, he's not really been involved in the match since he won the first frame so convincingly. And the way it's going, it might not be lasting much longer. I know the frame to win the match is always the difficult one. Bingham is playing well, he really is.
He's just not allowed Zhao Xintong a sniff
16.
since that opening frame. He's always played the right shot. That one stays out, but the frame
Bingham,
is
16
long
and
since
frame.
one. He's just not giving the opportunity for his opponent. The winner to play the John Higgins or one of the surprise packages of the week, Joe O'Connor. They're up next. O'Connor ranked 103 in the world, but he's taken out Kyron Wilson and Ding Junhui. Higgins, of course, just edged out Jack Lazowski last night. Still a little downbeat about his game, but no one has a better record than Higgins here. 5 times a champion at the Welsh. Bingham looking to win his second Welsh Open crown.
Well, we know that his strength is his potting, but of course you feel that he's got to be really up on the safety as well, and that's going to be so tough because it's not really his thing. So what does he do? He's just try and out-pot Stuart.
Well, it could have been worse, particularly after the double kiss.
Yeah, I think Philip, what he's done is decided he's going to go down the route of trying to pot everything in sight. And he's going to have to get everything in sight, I suppose.
And that's assuming he gets any more chances. As Bingham hits another red beautifully right into the heart of the pocket. Disappointed this time with the way that cannon has worked out. It's been one of the aspects of his game today, the control that he's shown in getting the reds open. Yeah, I think the red to the middle, well, it might be the only one, but even then, which colour would he be at a pot? So Bingham's been very good at taking as many shots as he thought he could get. And as soon as there's been one he missed, for instance, that double in the last frame, you know, he's walked away because he knows it's time to keep the pressure on. So in playing this shot, not getting on a red, because he didn't mean to kiss that red on the way through. He could be playing safe. He might just be, he's lining up a pretty elaborate in off another red. But either way, the cue ball to safety is what he was most interested in.
Stuart Bingham, 6.
More often than not, Zhao Xintong, since he took the opening frame, has come to the table either in the snooker or close to the baulk cushion, certainly without a reasonable pot to go. Makes it so much more difficult when you've got no rhythm, no table time. He's just got to keep plugging away. That might. Improve his mood, the fluke.
Yes, that was definitely a fluke. One or two people messaged me to say they thought the Bingham shot was a plant that he intended. Good reasoning, actually, in that he wouldn't have gone into the bunch quite at the pace he did and split them up if he didn't think it was a plant there. I take that on board. It may have been intentional. The last shot wasn't. Unfortunately, that shot. It's a sign of a player that's been starved of table time. He's got no fluency.
High-value colour's a bit awkward at the moment. But he won a frame earlier on without needing to resort to the black, which was out of commission throughout his break. That's the blue to work with.
Six. Seven.
So he's very good at building breaks. You know, end up getting the high value colours in play here. The problem he's got is if he pots the red and gets on the black and pots the black, I'm not entirely sure whether the black spot
11.
will be free. I get the feeling it will be now, seeing that.
12.
So there's no reason why he shouldn't make hay here. There's a red near the black spot. But looking at that, it's absolutely fine. All the reds have been cleared now.
19.
Slight angle here, not perfect to get on the black. Probably
20.
as good as he could have achieved from where he was.
There's been no sense of complacency at all about Stuart Bingham's snooker today. He'll still be regarding Zhao Xintong as a threat in this match, taking the utmost care to try and finish the job here and now.
This is very gently played. Well, I mean, he's hit it to the bottom jaw. I'll be honest, I'm not even sure had it been straighter whether it would have reached anyway. It was just short of speed, wasn't it?
A rare opportunity indeed, as we see Bingham undercook that black, which was always fading towards the near jaw, for Zhao Xintong to pot a few balls.
That's probably the only easy ball he's missed in live play in this match, isn't it, really? He hasn't missed anything else. Unless when the frame has been over.
Zhao has scored just 23 points in the previous 4 frames. And he scored 129 in the first. So it's now or never, really.
1. Eight. Nine.
We're going to find out a lot more about him, even if he could just win the frame here. I think that would be a big feather in his cap. It wouldn't mean that he's got the match at his mercy or anything, but
16.
when the chance comes off a long periods of being starved out of it, and
17.
it's a sign of a very good player, and a player that's been putting in a lot of practice as well. Because your confidence can drain sometimes.
Yes, and practice is something he did a lot of during the
24.
summer, having fallen off the tour at the end of last season. He got back on through Q School,
25.
courtesy of victory over Dechawat Poomjang, the Thai player. And I think perhaps in the long term, that will prove to be a blessing in disguise. Realised just how much work was required to make it as a professional. This season has been
32.
largely a success story.
I think Q School is an absolute minefield.
33.
He did well to get through there. Not all of the good players make it through, but he's one of them that did. Especially having been off the tour, as you say. Didn't really want to be there, but this is his first year of a 2-year brand new card, and he's really
40.
done well. You know, could build on a very strong ranking at about this time next year.
41.
Could play the top red of the two, the left-hand one, as we look at those. Both reds, I think, are hittable. Yes, he played the top red as I thought he might. There's nothing wrong with that shot. I think the pace was good. He never overhit. Played with a plan.
$49.
That's also well played. He might not be able to reach it though, even though he's a left-hander.
54.
And it's a good effort, this, considering how little table time he's had in 4 straight frames. He's still got to turn it into a frame-winning break, though.
55.
But he's close.
Yes, and he looked at the score, realising that this black going in means Stuart Bingham needs a snooker. And why wouldn't you play on the reds down the cushion? Because they're going in and they're anyhow. Ready to cannon it out, as you might do on a different week, on a different table.
62.
One mistake from Bingham. There have been precious few. He underhit the black.
63.
And Zhao has just reminded us of how good he is.
And also how big that pocket is, because I tell you, I don't think I've seen one miss down the cushion, whereas some tournaments you don't hardly see anyone get any.
70. $72.
This is the only real scoring chance that Zhao has had since the opening frame, when he made 37. Just lost position and then 92. So he's really not put a foot wrong. He's been in. It's just that he hasn't been allowed to get in because of the excellence of Stuart Bingham. But he's kept his hopes alive here in Cardiff. That was a real...
If nothing else, it's a stark reminder for Bingham that he's up against a very good player. The way that last frame panned out, the one time he did miss something, that was it. Frame lost.
Zhao first signalled his potential in his mid-teens when he beat Ken Doherty as a wild card, and then Steve Davis.
Yes, I seem to remember that and thinking, wow, this is another really bright young talent. It's taken a while though, like we're saying. He did fall off the tour after a couple of years on. Before now he seems to be a different proposition. Talent was always there. It's all the rest of the things you have to build around.
And one tournament can be the catalyst to make that quantum leap forward. We saw it with Judd Trump back in 2011 when he won the China Open, having struggled to live up to his promise as a junior. And of course, right off the back of that, made the world final. Went on to win the UK Championship that year. And now well established at the top of the game. But that's another tremendous bit of doing for Bingham.
There's the adjust. Top side on the blue as well. Now, I think he's got the shot to get into the bunch here, and one of the reasons he might want to do it is not only to free reds, but to free the pink and black.
Five out of 6 from Bingham from long range. That's outstanding. Zhao is 2 out of 6.
Yeah, there've been some good long pots in the Monster as well. Sometimes it could be a misleading stat if there's 4 balls over a pocket, which are a long way away from
6.
the cue ball, but most of the ones he's knocked in have been for high level.
Seven.
Well, Bingham missed a black off its spot in the previous frame. Now he's missed a pink.
Yeah, I think he had other things on his mind. I'm not making excuses for him, but he was thinking about screwing off the bunch. I think the middle pockets are of a normal size. Now, he'll be furious. He'll be really angry that he never got past that red on the black.
Yeah, that's a little. Looks like he wants to have a go at this. It's going to be some shot if he gets it. A lot of that shot is to get the cue ball back. I'll tell you what, that is not a bad shot. Because
You guide the cue ball back to Bolt. If the red goes in, it's a bonus. I've seen worse shots in my time.
Also demonstrated the cue power, Zhao. Let's force the error. So just one or two signs of Stuart Bingham beginning to make mistakes that he wasn't making in that 4-frame burst.
Yes, and this time he has another chance to get onto the black, although at this range, you know, he's got to have to play this very well. The pot and the position is tough to get them both. He thought that he couldn't get on the black. But a shot on the blue from there, he's probably not leading to him taking the red afterwards. It's a brilliant try. It really is to get to the cue ball around the table. He's tied on the cushion.
6.
He's grinning because there's one person applauded. But I understand why they applauded that shot, because it was wonderful cueing. Lucky.
Zhao Xintong 6.
Well, at least he's starting to feel part of the match again, because for 4 frames he was virtually a spectator. And he's not out of this yet. If he can win this one, he's right back in it.
One of the few bouts of safety we've seen in this match. And Bingham's played that with a good weight. That's nice. But safety in a match where both players are potting so well, it's got to play a part.
He didn't want the knuckle. Shake of the head. He avoided that. He might well have run safe as it is. This red to left corner goes for Bingham.
One.
So he's back in. He'll be keen to finish this sooner rather than later now, Bingham. He's just made 1 or 2 errors in the last couple of frames. We've seen that there's still plenty of fight left in Zhao with that break of 75 in the previous one.
5.
Not quite at the point where you'd say he's going to be sure of winning the match here. The angle on this red is not really conducive to an easy shot to get on the colour. Looks like he's running it through, playing on the black, taking the big shots on.
6.
Now, so you've got the angle to run through, avoid the black and pop the black into the opposite corner. No, it's a tight one. You'd like to be able to play that. Hasn't played it
40.
to perfection. He's on it. He might have the angle to screw into the bunch.
Similar to the black that he missed to allow Zhao in the previous frame, but this time, no mistake.
21.
He has opened the reds up very nicely. So one good positional shot here from Stuart Bingham. It could be a match-winning chance. He's overcut the red. Goodness me. Well, the errors are now creeping in, there's no doubt about it.
Where did that come from? I mean, we thought that the way he was playing, it didn't seem like this was going to happen. It's not. We saw yesterday Alexander Ursabaka against Wendy O'Sullivan miss a similar shot into that pocket when he had the match when he went on to win.
You can't believe it. It's got to give Zhao some encouragement. Bingham appears to be feeling the pressure inside of victory.
Yes, if he could take
8.
5 more reds with 5 blacks, you know, he'd be in a good strong position in this frame. It wouldn't be enough, but it would be a long way to
9.
winning the frame.
$16. 17.
Yes, playing on this red means the other 2 reds above it are very accessible, especially to the left corner where they wouldn't have both
24.
puttable before.
That red will really hurt Stuart Bingham.
25.
But it'll only matter if Zhao can go on and win the frame. If he can, then it will plant the seed of doubt in Bingham's mind about the destination of this match, which looked very much his at 4-1, and then when he was in just now, he seemed to have done the hard work in opening the reds.
32.
To miss an easy one.
$33.
The red and black means he's 27 in front. He needs, arguably, he needs all of the reds. I don't know if it was the right shot. He had to hit the other side of the red. I guess we'd have been saying brilliant shot had he played it that way. He had to hit the other side of it. It's a difficult shot, though, isn't it? Percentages tell me that the double kiss is going to happen a lot there. Yeah. Well, it's opened a debate. Why do you need to cannon reds out when they're so easy to put down cushions on this table?
Well, relief for Stuart Bingham that misread hasn't directly cost him the frame. So 20 points between them. The only frame so far that's been in the balance. With just a couple of reds left. The others have been won emphatically. A vital one. Cue ball just seemed to curl round to the left at the very last moment, which may be enough to have snookered Zhao. Sure enough, swerve required.
Well, the first red pass to the left middle. I don't know whether Bingham is going to play in such a way to get onto a colour, or just to play it, to pot it and drop the cue ball to the cushion. In which case, he might play to pot it and then play the snooker next. Depends exactly how he sees the angle.
Bingham is looking just a little edgy now as he tries to get this match over and done with. Played 4 immaculate frames, but the 5th one that he needs to get to the semi-finals is proving rather more problematic. That was a light years away. Now he's trusting to luck. Just 2 out of 9 from long range today for Zhao.
It's quite amazing, isn't it? All of a sudden, the sharpness in his game seems to have gone completely. And if it went 2-4-3, which it very well could here, we really would have a game on our hands. Turning back in favour of the young Chinese player. He has to finish off this frame at this visit. No more hanging around.
One.
Frame's got to get one quickly.
He's going to need the last red to make that happen. It's not there though, and he's developed the other red. The remaining red, so on we go in this nervy 7th frame.
Well, if Bingham manages to pull himself together, he can get this match won here, despite missing a few. I would say that it would come as a surprise to me if he wasn't able to dish up these. Pink and black have got some degree of difficulty about them getting on to the black from the pink and the way the black is. I suppose the green away from its spot needs to be thought about as well. next shot that we're going to see.
6.
Sheltering from something. We did have rain in Cheltenham last week, which stopped play. Don't think we've got a leak in the roof today. Stuart Bingham is under extra pressure now, though. He has missed chances to put this match to bed already. He would miss this one. He might start to panic a little. Not thrilled with that
8.
positional shot. This green is not easy, never mind position on the brown. Just tightening up a little bit.
Yes, he overcut one, didn't he? Not similar to this, at the other end of the table early on. This time he's hit too thick. Well, I'm a little surprised that he's missed this time, because I felt that
Stuart Bingham, 8.
maybe that was just a slight blip, the couple of shots, but that was a clear-cut chance to win the match. Now, I know he's got the cover, but Zhao Xintong is back at the table at least. He'll be grateful of that, if nothing else.
This frame is so much at odds with the previous 6 that we've seen, which have been won in clinical fashion by one player or the other. Things have suddenly got very nervy. Very nearly a fluke. No question Stuart Bingham is feeling it right now, though.
He's having difficulties getting over the line. And this frame has been the scrappiest by a mile of all of the frames we've seen.
It's also been the only lengthy frame, coming up to 25.5 minutes. Stuart Bingham has had 2 clear-cut chances to win this match. Is he going to get a better one in this frame? Into that to stop rolling.
Yeah, that's not very well played either. I think he forgot about the pace of that. He's given Bingham a lot of chances here. Green to brown is just the worry. He's got to get the pace right. Oh, dear me.
3.
I didn't think that looked on, I have to say. I felt that the cue ball would hit the bottom cushion first here. I suppose it was a bit straight on the green. Any thinner, it would have been more regulation up and down. Goodness, he's having real difficulties now at the moment, Bingham. It's changed altogether, this match.
Wow. Normal service from frames 2 to 5 resume. What a great pot that was.
It's got to be the shot of the match, the pace he's played it at as well. I mentioned earlier on that there was a slight concern about pink to
12.
black. It was pace, perfection, action, an angle on it, absolutely A1.